I put together this webinar, masterclass, whatever you would like to call it, because I'll go through my story here anyway, but I've been in the health and fitness business for 35 plus years. I've had lots of clients on weight loss and just exercise and health and all the things. I've managed three different large health clubs here as well. Been on the backside of it quite a bit. And I actually have quite a few clients, lots of them actually, and friends and acquaintances that I know that are on GLP medications. So I think they're life-saving for some, and I know that there's lots and lots of positives about them other than weight loss. So I'm going to go on here. And like I said, let me just chat there. Um, Today, I'm hopefully going to show you how to maybe maximize some of your results if you've been taking them a while. If maybe I have a couple on here that might not have or are thinking about it, I kind of geared it towards if you are on this medication already, to hopefully, make it a successful weight loss journey for you and your health, and to hopefully minimize some of the negative long-term events or effects that could possibly happen. Like I've said, I probably have at least 15 between clients and classes and all the things that I, teach and work with clients that are on some sort of one of the medications. And so I have all kinds of different stories. All the subjects I'm covering here today are coming from like people that I know or that have on it. I've been able to ask them questions. What's really happening? How does it feel to you? What would you say to somebody else? How can I help somebody else uh, through this? So you're here. You're in the right place if you want to maximize your results and minimize, like I said, some of the side effects. If you've had any, you can put in the chat if you're a person that um, maybe it's had some side effects. Feel free, and I can. I'm just admitting somebody here. Sorry, I'm not very good at doing two things at one time. So, yes, so that hopefully will help you out on that. You are currently on a GLP-1 medication, but maybe your weight loss has stalled. I have at least three clients that they have stalled on, so I'm questioning them constantly, like, what can we do about it? How are you doing? What are you doing that for your? How are you helping that for yourself? Let's see. You're in the right place if you have intentions of possibly going off of those medications, and scared of the side effects that might happen, which would be the weight gain, which if you're reading, and I'm sure you guys have all educated yourself and know that the chances are that you probably will regain some of the weight. I have heard very successful stories that those have not done that. So if they've incorporated some of the things that I'm going to talk about here today, they've been able to not um, been able to go off the medications and keep their weight down. So let's see here. Does this sound familiar? You just want to feel good. I'm sure that, like I have clients, I did at least 50 Zoom calls with mostly women, asking them questions if they've been on this medication, why, how much weight they wanted to lose, how much weight they have lost, side effects, how do they feel, all the things. So I went through lots of kind of research to find out what's happening, how people like it. So you're excited about your weight loss, but you want your body to look toned and not saggy. I hear a lot of that. So everything I'm bringing up here today is things that I've talked with actually people on. You're worried about the food noise. That's probably the number one thing as far as most of my ladies that I've trained, that they love that that is not there anymore. It just takes such a stress off of them if they've, it's usually not for everybody, but if you've been on, I kind of call them wackadoodle diets in the past. I mean, I'm 62 years old, so I've seen all kinds of very restrictive diets that women have done, all the things, over exercise, all the things. And what ends up happening with certain people is they'll end up like binging on all the foods, and that's kind of what does not help all that food noise. That's kind of the battle in their brain, so to speak. I get that. So that is one of the benefits that I can just tell in their faces. They're just so relieved that that is gone. So I'm just going to explain that a little bit towards the end as well on certain things that might help with that. I've had clients and I have friends that are on medications and just acquaintances that I know that have reached out to me and said, I just want you to know. And if they've had questions, um, if they've kind of decreased their dosage, they're maybe going to stay on a very low dosage because of some of the other effects, side effects, which are really good, maybe inflammation and things like that that they're having, which is awesome. I love that. I'm old myself and I have inflammation, so I'm looking into it. So, the next, I'm going to say 30 minutes. I want to help you eat that allows your body to start letting go of fat in a way and how to increase your metabolism, because that's the biggest thing when you are in a deep calorie restriction, that our metabolism will slow down to adjust for the amount of energy. And that is like the food you consume is what is considered energy you're giving your body. And it's supposed to slow down. So it's not this big, super scary thing that, oh, my metabolism is like really slowing down. It should, as you're, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose. If you're a person that maybe wants to lose maybe 10 to 15 pounds, your metabolism probably will not change that much. So there's all kinds of different nuances on this one. So um, yeah, how to increase your metabolism or keep it humming along where it is if you're happy with that, and expedite the calorie burn in only 2 to 3 days a week. I'm going to show you like workouts or certain workouts that or exercises that could be done to help with that. Who am I? I love my golden retrievers. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of two. I love for my cafe mocha shake that I have. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I went to a large health and fitness convention last summer out in LA, basically just to do, they had three doctors there that were all doing like 4 hour workshops on these medications, on the GLP-1s. So I strictly went there for that reason because it was geared towards personal trainers like myself helping clients and people that are taking these meds. And it was everything I wanted it to be. I learned a lot. I learned a ton, and I have a couple stories here of a couple of the male trainers that were young. Of course, they didn't agree with these very smart doctors that were really explaining all the goodness that comes from these and the help that we can follow, because they thought they could just, if they followed what they were doing, that they should be able to lose weight on their own. So, and sometimes it's not true. Sometimes GLP-1 is a peptide in our body, and it gets messed up, and kind of people don't have enough of it, and that's what leads to like overeating and things like that. So I loved every moment that I spent and learned from them. So I'm an expert at fat loss metabolism. I learned about what food can really do for you back when I did my first bodybuilding show. I was working out. I wasn't eating great or anything like that. I was probably 15 pounds heavier than I am right now. I decided to do this thing just because why not? It was kind of the thing to do. It's not like it is today. It's kind of wackadoodle today. But I had a gentleman that I listened to, and he just set me up on whole foods, up my protein. My workouts did not change at all. I just strength trained. And the body composition I saw in myself without being hungry, losing body fat, but hanging on to muscle, that is that is the way everyone should lose weight. But everyone thinks it's a bodybuilding way. No, it's exactly how it all kind of should go and should happen. So at that time, that's when I really it struck me, and I'm like, this is how it's got to be. I had energy, I wasn't hungry, all the things. So how to lose fat, not muscle, even though if you have a lot of weight to lose, you're probably going to lose a little muscle. That's normal. So we just want you to know that. Feel free to chat in if like, oh, that's me, or oh my gosh, I'm doing well. Please feel free, or just unmute yourself and like interrupt me. So this is me. I'm 62 now. That was my 60th birthday. This is me back in my early 30s before I began all of this nonsense that I do as far as taking care of my health. Yep, that's a cigarette in my hand and probably a big Slurpee from 7-Eleven and all the things. So I just kind of turned into this. I joined a gym. It was called Women's Workout World. It was very convenient. I was a hairdresser. Um, and I went there because I had some lifting. I learned how to lift weights early in my 20s and then went away to school. And then I started cutting hair. And I'm like, this is not the body. This is not who I am. This is not really who I am. So I joined that little gym, got the bug of, actually, I took a year to lose 32 pounds very slowly because I remembered I kind of hung out with bodybuilders even before that. Anyway, so that's kind of where I learned. And through the years, I've just honed in on that skill. And I've never been about like a big deprivation, but I've seen women train and women overwork, men too, over diet and all the things that come with that. So I have been around that, and my heart goes out to all of you that really struggle that way. Seriously. So the problem that I'm going to help you try to solve here is just the lack of muscle tone as you're losing weight, resulting in like the saggier skin. Because these are all questions that I've asked my clients, like, what's the deal? They're like, I hate my saggy skin. I hate my saggy skin. So how can I explain that to you that might help you in the long run? I love this little picture. This is what happens when you're in a, I would say, too big of a calorie deficit. Because I'm sure, when I start working with the client and she talks about food and maybe wants to lose weight and she's maybe not on this medication, doesn't matter. I'll have her track what she normally eats for at least 2 weeks. I don't judge anybody. I just like, let's just track to see where you're at for calories because we really only want to bump that down, maybe 300 to 500 calories a day, not like 1,000. And I'm sure a lot of my clients have done very restricted. But what happens here when you restrict like too much, too soon almost? Your body's looking for some energy and it's going to go after your muscle because I always explain this as your muscle is the most expensive real estate on your body. It's expensive to gain and it's expensive to keep. And when you restrict the calories that low, that's what you're losing because it's too expensive. Their body's trying to conserve energy, right? So it's going to hang on to the fat because that's what that does. And it's going to burn up your muscle. But that's what also leads to maybe some skin changes that you're not going to like maybe after a while, right? So my belief is solution would be these metabolic workouts. They're just strength training workouts. Um, Metabolic work, whatever you want to call them. There's some strength training in there, and it's not what you think. It's not over the top, but this helps with um, like this is what I brought up, what I learned about in LA is like these terms like Ozempic face and Ozempic butt came around. And I've heard this from my clients, like, oh my God, I don't have my butt anymore. One has lost a lot of weight. And she was sitting on her back cement steps and she goes, that never used to hurt. It's because she's lost weight and she's happy about that. But it's not your medication. And I'm sure you all know that, but it's the rapid weight loss that will do that to you. It takes away the muscle because it's trying to conserve some energy. I go get a facial with this laser stuff, and I always ask my lady, like, are you seeing more women now due to rapid weight loss? And she said, yes. And just in their cheeks, you have muscle in your cheekbones and all that stuff. So, like I said, your glutes, we all think we have muscle in our glutes, but when that starts to go, we lose the weight and there's nothing there, you probably maybe are a person that didn't work out or work out the right way, et cetera, lifting weights, whatever. So it's not from the medication. There's people that will say that, oh, I don't want, like it's considered Ozempic face, but it's not from your medication. We're just not fueling your body the correct way. So let me just explain a little bit the difference between exercise, um, the type of exercise that we do. Women are well known for like overdoing cardio. If you've never exercised before, then hopefully this will help explain it. Yeah, it's cardio, like our running type stuff is like the king of calorie burn. It just is. But you will lose weight, like over here, my little green X, great for fat loss with a calorie deficit. But with fat burning, it pretty much stops when you are done with your cardio session. It If overdone, which many, many do, like back in the day, I was like high-low, I was the turbo kick, I was teaching step class, I was doing all the things that can be overdone. It decreases your metabolism because your body is trying to become more efficient for cardiovascular health. And with running and all those things, it doesn't need a lot of muscle. So that's kind of what the cardio does. Even though I still do cardio, not the endurance type, but we still need it for our hearts and all that kind of stuff and good for our health. Resistance training is great for fat loss as well with a calorie deficit. If you're on a GLP-1, obviously you're in a calorie deficit. But with how strength training goes, it's works your muscles in a different strenuous way that you can actually burn some body fat up to 24 to 36 hours post your workout. So with running and stuff, it doesn't really need the muscle. With strength training the right way, it will challenge your muscle and things like that. And that's why that works, which will keep your metabolism where it at or possibly increase your metabolism depending on your intensity. This is the difference here. Strength training workouts with cardio, you can work out the same amount of time or approximately burn approximately the same amount of calories. Um, Afterburn for cardio is about 10 minutes, and strength training is about 48 hours where you get kind of that afterburn. And afterburn means, when you run your car and you shut the engine off and it stays warm for quite a while after, that's kind of our body's afterburn after you like do like a metabolic full body strength training workout. It kind of stays humming along for a while, and it can burn up to, quite a few calories post exercise. And the calorie for cardio is like maybe 8.3 calories a minute after, and this is like a 25 calorie depending on what you're doing there. So I don't know if any of you do those type of workouts or have ever. I speak at quite a few functions now, and I speak to a bunch of mostly women over 45, over 50, even more than that. And maybe they've never strength trained before. They all think they're going to get kind of bulky and this and that will not happen. I just want you to know that right now. So without strength training, your body will always prioritize conserving the energy over maintaining muscle, like the little Pac-Man thing. That's kind of what it does. Reduced muscle mass will definitely slow down your metabolism, which will make it harder to maintain weight loss. This is kind of why plateaus happen, because you're kind of at that where you plateau. And I've had 3 clients here actually plateau. It's been a year now that they've been on their medication, and they have plateaued. And I think I read somewhere another client of mine told me that her doctor did say that she has maybe up to a year to lose pretty much the amount of weight she wants to lose, and then it does not stop working, but it'll plateau after a while. So um strength training, your body will be able to maintain the muscle mass, because you are, especially if you're in a calorie deficit, you want to strength train to hang on to that muscle mass. You absolutely have to do that. Maintaining your muscle mass supports your metabolism during the weight loss. Your muscle is what gives you that, that kind of toned, kind of that tighter look to your body, like the triceps. Women hate their triceps, that part of it. So, super important. Yeah. Is anybody here strength train already? Put it in the chat if you do, if you don't, if you're curious, if you don't know what to do. That's kind of what I hear a lot from women, especially in their 50s. I don't know what to do, and so I get that. So number two, like the problem I've noticed is the slowing metabolism due to the lack of calories. Let's try to understand that a little bit. So as a result of low calories, your metabolism is slowing down. And so if you're feeling, like tired, like kind of fatigued all the time, that is a lack of calories, or could be dehydration as well. Usually they go together. That's what the one lady on LA was phenomenal. She's out of Kansas University, and I can't remember her name, but she said without the tendency, like when you don't think about eating, you don't think about drinking water. And she said, and it happened to one of my clients, and she will not say that it happened to her, but she said a lot of these clients who are, you're kind of low in calories, and then you don't think to drink water, and they faint. And a lot of them will get concussions because they just faint. And one of my clients, she did that and she got a concussion, but she says, "Oh, no, 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 it wasn't from that." I'm like, maybe, maybe. So that is a sign that maybe you are not eating enough calories. See if I have in my notes here. I wanted to cover. Let me see this. Do any of you have, like, when you're not hungry? I have one client that I really talk to a lot because she's really open about talking about everything. It's like you're always walking around half full, because that's what the medications do. It kind of slows down the digestion process, so your food just takes a lot slower in your gut to like process and digest and break down and pass through your system. So that does keep you fuller longer. And she said let's see here. Sorry, I meant her. Sorry. Um, to have to, she said, I have to almost force myself to have a little bit of breakfast, even a little bit. I have to, um, like make it a plan. Like, even though I know I'm not gonna be hungry in the morning, but I know I need to eat something. So it's almost like you have to retrain your brain to like, I know I need to eat something, but not be hungry for it. So that's a big mindset, I would think, like to battle that out. So see if anybody's here. Okay, I just want to check that just quick. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Does that make sense to anybody? Do you guys have any of that? Anybody want to answer? Feel comfortable answering like that? And I say feel comfortable because I think it's not really talked about. I mean, I have gals here that, I think I'm like, shh, they're kind of embarrassed and they think people are judging them. I don't judge at all. I will not judge anybody for saying here. I'm here to help, but I know that it's kind of this stigma that you're maybe cheating or this or that. And I hate that. It's no different than, I mean, you need some help with something like this will help you, right? This is going to help you get to where you want to go. And I'm hopefully going to give you, if you're not doing some of these things already, which I'm pretty sure you guys are, that will help you just do it in more of a healthy way for your body. Because you want to lose weight, we want a healthier body. That's what I'm assuming for all you. And I'll just assume that. So let's see. So I call it kind of my process is teaching your body how to burn more calories makes your life easier. Like that's kind of what I've done through the years is the choices of food that I make and the movement I do with my body. My body is constantly burning and churning just because of years of what I've done and taught it to do. You kind of have to teach it how to do that, if that makes any sense. Let's see, is there one more that's waiting? Uh, no, hopefully I'm not being too confusing. I'll go off on a rant, and that's why I'm watching my notes here. Um, so when you have no system in place, and like I keep going back to the consults I did on Zoom and the clients that I talked to and some of the gals that come into class here, if you're losing weight and you still can eat the foods that you used to eat, that's probably only going to take you so far. So no system, every time you lose and regain the weight, your metabolism slows down, making it easier to store fat and gain weight. So with a different kind of system, kind of reverses the slow metabolism and teaches your body to burn a lot of calories during the day, making weight gain difficult. So I'm hopefully going to teach you with, some of the ideas of food. Oh, here we go. Let's see, I need to look at over here. Wait, keep back everything is right. Okay, good. Okay. Thank you, Tara. Right. Some of you guys, where's my toolbar over here? I can't. Well, thank you for your information there. So yes. So I've been around this for so long. I know what works and it's nothing sexy and it's so um let me see if this has happened to anybody here. Yo-yo dieted just because I've been around forever. Like the women that kind of yo-yo diet, you want to lose weight for a cruise, and then the cruise is over, so you gain weight, and then you want to lose weight for like a reunion, things like that. So when you do that time over time, see, the weight is the red line, the calorie intake is the white line, and the metabolic rate is the blue line under the yo-yo dieting. That's what happens. You kind of all even here, and then you drop a little bit, then you regain it again. The weight goes up, the metabolic rate stays kind of close to the same, and then the next time you drop again, it goes lower, the weight goes higher, and the metabolic rate stays lower, but the calories can stay the same. That's your body. Like when you drop weight quickly like that, you lose body fat and you're going to lose muscle, but your metabolic rate is all about the muscle. That's what it is. And it just doesn't work that way. It takes time to kind of reverse that. So um, keeping your diet a little more, healthier, not getting those drops, we can keep your metabolic rate up there and keep the calories up there and keep the weight kind of down where it needs to be or where you are happy with, right? Let's see. GLP 8 months. Oh, let's see. So without a certain kind of method, whosever method you want to follow, restricted calories, your body will read as scarcity and it slows down metabolic rate because it thinks it's not going to get food. It doesn't know. Our bodies are really smart. They can figure out, things that, if you've trained your body so far, like it's going to eat here and it's going to eat here. And then when you take that away, it's just like, it's scary to it. So it's really smart. It's what it does. So metabolic rate to conserve energy, which require even further calorie restriction to function. I've seen that where you lose and then you plateau, and then you either need to add, if you're not exercising, you need to decrease those calories even more, which you will get to a spot where you cannot do that. It's not sustainable. It's not good for your health. So with kind of what I choose to teach people, your body will become more of a fat burning machine, which allows you to eat the food. You can still have food you like and love and not gain weight. Obviously, not like and love like 3 meals a day, but you know what I mean. You don't have to restrict that much. You're happier, you're getting more nourishment from the food. So food noise was another like big issue, like I said, with some of these women, and they have done. I've asked each and every one of them on the Zoom calls and clients that I've had, like, what have you done in the past? I mean, I've had one client who was very, very large before I met her, lost 200 pounds, gained 100 back, lost 100 again, gained 100 back. So normally I'm saying you can't really ruin your metabolism. You can always get it healthier you, as long as you're not doing things for so long. Well, I would have to say this client is probably that's a lot of up and down and massive amounts of weight. We're still working at it. I'm still staying positive with her and hoping she gets where she wants to go, but it's a battle. It's a battle and that happens. So we want to try to do that the right way. So I don't know if this makes sense to any of you. If you've done anything like that, you've restricted eating. I always call it like usually like a Monday or the first day of the month is when people like want to go on a diet and change everything, right? So we kind of get everything that we like out of the house on a Sunday night. Then, you can only do that for so long or go too low a calories. Then we start to binge. Then you lose your shit. And then you have this like regret and like you're embarrassed, the shame of it all. So this constant circle. And that's kind of the food noise that's in your head. I often talk about how when, just because I'll say this again and again, I've had clients, many of them where when they're dieting, they have these foods over here where I'm good. These are my good foods and I'm being good when I'm doing this. And then when I'm off, these are the foods I eat when I'm off. So we have this mindset of I'm good, I'm bad. So I get that. So I'm hoping the medication helps with that whole thing, right? Like, oh, I just can't, it goes away. It's such a relief. So I'm super happy for you that have had that for you. So my solution is to eat foods that silence the food noise. And they're just, the whole foods. Comment if you're doing that now. What I've realized with a lot of clients is they will just continue eating what they used to eat because number one, they're not hungry and they're just going to eat used to what they normally would eat and that they like. And I'm going to go into why that is, not a great thing if it wasn't good choices. So a little bit on our blood sugar levels here. This is kind of what happens, and this is what happens with food noise when you're constantly going up and down between, usually when we binge, we're not binging on chicken breast, right? We're not whatever. So every time, well, you wake up, your blood sugar rises, and then it's going to drop. Then you got maybe some breakfast here, and then it goes up again because every time we eat, even myself, it's going to go up. Then it drops, and then you have another snack or whatever you're going to have. And these snacks, meaning like your American breakfast in the past, maybe you guys are better about having some protein now, but bagel, egg McMuffin, or something like that, something carbohydrate-ish, and that's going to spike it even more. So this is kind of up and down. Then you have another snack, and then it really spikes up. So what happens when that happens is your insulin is released because that's job is to go up and grab your blood sugar and pull it back down again. Then you have another snack and it goes up and the insulin's got to rise again and then it pulls it back down to kind of combat that. So that over and over again, what the insulin does is it stores body fat. That's how all that works in layman's terms. I'm not going to get into too deep topic of that. I don't have time for that tonight, but that's what happens there. So this is what happens when you, like I still say, still have your toast in the morning, but add some protein. So you're still going to spike, but if you have some protein, even throughout your day, it's going to keep it here. Notice the insulin, it's very seldom needs to go up and grab anything because that protein in your diet is going to help keep it down. So, which is tough too, because I don't know if you guys are you even hungry in the morning, most of you. I'm thinking about that, and my clients are not. And so I have a couple that they have this little thing that they mix, that they have just to have a little something to start their day. Otherwise, they're going to forget. So, without a method, you continue to choose foods that will spike your insulin, which store body fat, keeping that food noise maybe at bay because of the medication. But like I said, some of the medication will wear off. And I've had clients here say, oh, I had a tough weekend. I'm not used to that, so maybe you can increase the dose. Maybe you're at a high dose already. So, there's no like super, super magic pill. Even though the medication does seem like it, you still need to make some other adjustments in your healthy lifestyle, right? So with a different method, you will learn to choose foods that actually quiet the food noise in your head, which also help with the satiety feeling satisfied longer, which the medication does help with, right? I think it's finding that perfect dose after you get your weight loss of staying on it where you actually can have some hunger. I don't know if I'm right on that. Comment if you can. Um, my biggest concern is that when you're in a calorie deficit, you guys, for overly long, not having the hunger, forgetting to eat. That's another, I learned that, like I forget to eat because it just is not there in your brain. Um, Choosing not so nutrient dense foods, which leads to nutrient deficiencies. So I've read on that, and they talked a lot about that in the big workshops that I took out in LA. Like, they're finding deficiencies in people because of the lack of nutrients in their foods that they're choosing. So that's, I mean, that's I hate that for you because I get it because you're just gonna, hey, I'm losing weight, having whatever, so why wouldn't I continue eating that because I like it, right? So we need to make different choices because I think bottom line is we just want to have a healthier body to live longer and be able to do what we want to do, right? So you'll deplete your body of some very important nutrients and vitamins that it needs to be healthy and feel good and do stuff, right? And be able to do stuff. Otherwise, and that helps too, actually, the more nutrient dense your foods are, even though you're on a low calorie um, day, it'll give you energy where other foods do not give you that. Like sugary foods or highly, you know, processed foods, they don't give you the nutrients you need at all. So the other problem is, you're trying to figure it out on your own. Like I said, I've been around this business and it's not so different than just somebody being on a big calorie restricted diet, which I've seen. Um, Hope you have some help. If you talk to somebody, maybe there's a group that you're with that you can talk to. So there's a lot of noise out there. Like I mentioned, the young trainers that I would see out in LA at these workshops, and they're like, well, I can do that. They don't need that. And so there's so much noise. It's a very popular topic right now. That in your perimenopause and your menopause, it's called the gold rush. So everyone's jumping in. So please try to shut off all this other stuff that you've been inundated. Try to listen to maybe one person, or listen to yourself or get educated yourself, something out there. But it's nice to have someone to talk to and just like to guide you. So um I I'll finish off here. So, what that helps with, it takes away guesswork. I mean, I can speed up a process for someone immensely in their health and lifestyle. So um let's see. So hopefully today I helped you like learn to maximize your results by knowing that you should strength train, helping you like, well, maybe you think on better nutrient dense foods. The difference between the exercises, what helps, because women will tend to always go to the cardio because they want to see that number. The other thing, do you guys have like I have a scale here that I have a body composition scale. If you don't have one of those, I would advise you getting one. There's a couple on Amazon that are less than $50. I have a really expensive one here, but it at least gives you like your lean mass, your body fat. Mine gives my BMI, although I don't pay a lot of attention to BMI. Instead of just looking at the number of the scale. I've had a couple clients that I called it hated themselves skinny, and they got to that weight that they thought they should be, and they were unable to stay there because it's too much. They were always looking for that drop in the scale to get that little high. And when that doesn't happen anymore, we have to be happy for the steps that you're taking during the weight loss that get you there, those tiny little steps, those tiny little, oh, I'm going to have some protein. Oh, I'm going to do my workout today, etc. So let's recap some of the steps here. When you incorporate strength training, your metabolism will, maintain, might even skyrocket depending on the intensity you put into it. Without it, your metabolism will continue to stay it works, but kind of dormant, a little bit because of the low calories and nutrients maybe that you're not giving your body, maybe you're giving your body. So it's a step two, teach your body how to burn calories even at rest through food and exercise. You will continue to pare down your muscle and fight fatigue without taking some of those steps of um, training with weights and getting some more nutrient dense foods. I hope that makes sense to all of you. Um, Step three, you learn how to patterns of food help to naturally quiet the food noise, like choosing foods that won't necessarily spike your insulin that much, or adding the certain like protein throughout your day. And I don't talk specific what type of protein. Everybody likes something different. I do a lot of that with my other kind of one-on-one training. I help all a lot with that, but figure that out. Like have a little bit of protein through your day at every meal, and that helps with that. And that helps. I had one client, it was a male, it was years ago, and he was carbohydrate guy, but he was a runner and he decided he wanted to strength train. And he was always questioning, like, how much protein do you eat? Like, what should I get? And he started to incorporate that. And about 6 months into it, he goes, I know why you like the protein, Anna. He goes, and he had a lot of anxiety and he was always kind of a, nervous Nelly guy. And he says it really calms my brain because it would kind of, from the skyrocketing of the insulin, the blood sugar and all that, where it gives you the high lows of the carbs, it kept him more level. And that's where he noticed it. Like, it just kept his brain calmer. I'm like, ah, love that. Right. So without the step, you'll always battle maybe that food noise if you're not making better choices with more nutrients, whole foods, foods, or you decide to taper down or quit your medication. Just taking these steps of better quality foods, learning about them, noticing the difference if you're sleeping better, if you just feel better, your skin will look better. I'm always like that. People are like, what do you do for your skin? And I'm like, cast iron and protein. It's wonderful for your skin. Your skin is protein. So yes, let's see. Step 4, if you get a coach, you'll have some support, some community. Weight loss is a lonely journey. I've known that from many clients. A lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people like don't necessarily have big conversations about being on Ozempic and things like that. They keep it very hush hush. I mean, I just had one of my gals today who's on it just for inflammatory reasons. She said, I just wanted to lose a couple pounds, and she did. And somebody asked her something, and she was just like, she even did that. I'm just like, so it's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's nice to be able to talk to somebody who understands and supports you. So here's my little fork in the road. You can either do what you've always done. I like this little video. I found that. I'm very impressed with myself. See her running down there. Say pick one road or not. I just had to throw that in there. So it's true though. We all have choices on what we're going to make. So if you'd like to work with me, that's my website. I have lots of information on there. I did put together, and I was a doctor in town here who does um, work with clients and does GLP-1 medications. He called me and said, will you put together some kind of a strength training program? I don't have time for that. I want all my people that to somehow strength train. So I put together just a 3-day a week workout. Can be done 2 a week. It's called Fit for You. It's on my website if you want to check it out. It's mostly for women 40 to 60, but it's men and women. It all works. So I took into consideration that sometimes you're like really tired, and I explained that in some of the workouts. I'm doing all the videos. My daughter's doing them with me to show modifications. If you need this program, if you're not strength training at all, it's something you can do in your home with very minimal equipment. Let's see. It was very fun to do. I'm all about that. There's a couple of modules. I just said balancing hormones and preventing weakness is one of the weekly modules. It's 12 weeks long. A second module is combating menopausal belly fat. I can't even talk now because I'm dying of thirst, everybody. So that's a big issue as we get older as well. And the menopausal belly fat or perimenopause, when women especially, we lose our muscle because we're getting older. That's another big thing why I need to talk to women, because after age 50, 40, it starts in our 40s, late 30s, where our muscles being pared down just to the hormones. And now you're getting to a point where you're decreasing your calories and you're losing muscle because number one, maybe you're not strength training and we're getting older. That's just fact. So I hope I have excited you to like, I better start strength training or figure out what to do there. Let's see, boosting energy levels and living a life with vitality. So I have 12 modules that I cover, different subject like that. That's Fit for You. It's 20% off right now on my website. Let me see here. I'll put that in the chat if you guys want to check that out. So I'm not a big salesy gal, but I am passionate about women's health, men's health too, but mostly women. I've been around for a long time, and I just want everybody to fall in love with taking care of themselves. So if you have any other questions, I can look at the chat here. Otherwise, let's see. This, let me move that up. I appreciate your time, everybody. Let me see if I missed anything. Yes. 2 times a week and you want to work out 3 times, that's awesome. That means you love it and it's working for you. So yes, I appreciate your time, anybody. I am a Facebook, Anna McGee, if you want to reach out and DM me. Otherwise, you can email me. It's AnnaMcGee.com is my email. If you would like to email me more questions or set up a call with me, I would be happy to talk to any of you. So anyway,